Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Lord Crumbs, and this is day 19 of Simsmas. 19 days of custom content giveaways, actual physical giveaways, and also daily videos. It's been fun so far. We've only got 6 more days left. So without further ado, let's jump in to showing you today's Sims 2 conversion objects that we've got. And here we are, some iconic mirrors for you. And I keep using the word iconic, but it's the only way I can describe them. Again, with a couple of different swatches from all. And that's today's custom content giveaway. Link in the description if you want them. In regards to the actual physical giveaway that I'll be giving one of the packs away, future me will come in later on and explain what to do and how to enter yourself for that, whether it'll be first person typing the code in or a random draw in the comments. But yeah, future me will let you know. Today's video is going to be slightly different from what I've done so far. I'm going to be showing you how to recolor. Well, it's how I personally recolor like picture frames if I wanted my own portrait within the game. So without further ado, let's jump in. Hey guys, Future Alex here, and I just wanted to go through how to enter the giveaway today. It's not so much going to be an entering, more of a first come, first serve sort of scenario. In each video I'll be put in like a little image to explain what game I'll be giving away that day. So for instance, this video is going to be this game, and how you're going to get a chance to win that is throughout the video I'm going to break down the code in order and they're going to appear throughout the video, so it does mean you're going to have to watch the whole video, unfortunately. So yeah, if you did want an opportunity to win the certain game of today's video, then keep an eye out for the code that will splash up on the screen. It won't be up for long, and it'll be, some places will be really hard, some places will be really easy, so keep an eye out and good luck. If you want to better your chances at winning a giveaway, make sure you are subscribed to Lord Crumbs and you have notifications turned on for 25 days of December, so up until the 25th of December. I'll be releasing these videos at 6 PM UK time, so get an idea where you are in the world to compare to come and watch. And without further ado, let's get on with the rest of the video. To a tutorial video, I guess. So before we begin, I just want to run through the tools that I'll be using within this video. I'll be using paint.net, which is free. I'll provide a link in the description below. I'll also be using Sims 4 Studio. This is how I actually recolor the objects that I want. Again, the link will be in the description down below. That being said, with the paint.net, I'm just going to show you quick basic movements around. So if you hold control with the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. You can also zoom in and out down the bottom right hand corner here with this little cursor. You can move up and down with this side here, with this bar here, and left to right over here. Or you can hold down shift to go left and right, and up and down is just the mouse wheel not holding anything down. We've got 2 different menus that pop up as well, which are disabled and enabled up here. So if you don't have anything when you boot up paint.net, if you click this one here, this is your tools. You can also press F5. You can also click your layers, which is F7. We're going to need those in a bit as well, once we actually get to the texturing. In regards to the texturing, it's a good idea to have something that you want to replace it with. So for me, I have a bunch of images that I have taken within the game, and I have edited them to make them look more canvassy using filters within paint.net. So I want to do a landscape portrait of one of my builds. We'll be doing that. So that being said, we have an idea of what the canvas that we want, so the shape of it, if it's going to be a square, a rectangle, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to teach you how to make your own objects or meshes in this video, but that may come if asked for in the future. Recoloring items is the same process for pretty much everything, and as a disclaimer, this is how I personally recolor EA items. Other people may have their own little niche and their own little techniques. The first thing we want to do is set up what I call our build folders. So we want to go into the Sims 4 in our documents folder and our mods. You may have several other folders in here depending on if you organize your mods or you don't, but what I do is I create a new folder for every new project that I do, and I just call this folder new project. I then go into that folder. And I create a new folder. Again, folder within a folder. And I call this my textures folder. And within this folder is where I will put the images of the canvas that I want. So for instance, I want to put this one in here. So my reference, my canvas base image, I want to do number 19, which is this one here, which is a palace I built for my array. If you want to check the speed build for that out, there'll be a iCard if I remember. But yeah, there's that video. So we can minimize all that. This is the website for Sims4 Studio. This again will be linked below. And what you want to do is you want to scroll all the way past. And as I'm on Windows, I click the installer. I'm not sure how you would do it for a Mac user. Once you've gone through and installed the Sims4 Studio and you loaded it up, it will bring you up this screen. And you type in your creator name. So for me, it would be Lord Crumbs, or whatever your username that you want to use. There's these 4 sections here. We've got animation, build, cast, and object. So this is all your build swatches. This is all your creator sim swatches, and this is all your objects, including debug items. But like I say, we're just going to be focusing on a painting today. So what we want to do is we'll make sure that standalone recolor is ticked, and we just click object, and we'll wait for it to load. And it will, depending on the game, it will load up all the items. Up here on the top left, you'll see game pack, all, content all, and search. If you already know the name of the item in game, that you want the frame, for instance, that you want to use. So for instance, this one's called saxophone. You can literally type saxophone, if you can spell it correctly, and it'll appear in there. But I want to do a landscape painting, and I want to use this one here. What I usually do is I enable base game, just to make sure that I'm only picking base game objects so that no one has to require any expansion packs or stuff packs or anything like that to have these items. When you have the item that you would want to recolor, so for instance this one here, I'll click it and it'll be selected within the blue. You then want to go to next. A new screen will pop up here. You want to direct yourselves into your documents, your electronic arts, your Sims 4, your mods folder, and remember that folder we created earlier called new project? We want to go into there. We're not going into textures, we're just going to leave it outside into the new project folder, and we will call it something like Lord Crumbs. For me, you can have your own username if you're planning to upload it and share it so people can easily distinguish between who's created it, and then your package name. So for me, this is Brindleton Bay Palace. This is a royal palace. So I'll just name this as Royal Tapestry, and you click save. Sim4 Studio will do its whole loading thing, and eventually you come to this screen. And the same sort of thing, to zoom in and out is control and like right click, shift and right click, you move up and down, and just simple right click you can rotate round. You can see here that it's got a name, a description, and a price. So this is where you edit those sort of things, unless you want it to have the same name as the item you've cloned. But for me, I'm just going to go call it, I'm not thinking of anything too smart for this. I'm just going to call it the Royal Palaces. And then you can create your own description here, but I'm just going to call it created by Lord Crumbs, and it is worth 9,500 simoleons because they are expensive. Now, you see these 3 swatches up here. We've got 3 swatches in total for this recolor, and I'm quite happy to keep the frame as is. All I want to do is just edit the inside. So underneath the swatches, you're going to see texture. And here, if you click on each 3, you'll notice that this thumbnail changes as well as the preview here. So you want to click on 1 and then go all the way down past texture, and where it says texture you want to click on export. For this export, not the catalogue thumbnail export, we want to export this one here. This is where we go into our folder that we named textures, and it should pop up and it should be automatically here because it brings up the last folder that you were in. So you go into textures, and I'm just going to simply call this 1. Where it says save file type as, I will make sure that it's a PNG enabled, and I will click save and do that. I will then go on to swatch number 2, and I will click export again, this bottom export, not this catalogue thumbnails export, this bottom one, and I'll name that as 2. And again, for the third one, I will click export, then number 3. Now with that, I'll minimize the Sims 4 Studio and I'll load paint.net up, to which I will open and direct myself into our Electronic Arts, The Sims 4, Mods, New Project, Textures, and I'll click on 1, and holding Shift I will click on number 3, and it should select all 3 of them. And I will click open, and it should now open all 3 at the top here. This is where I will then make sure that my toolbar is up by either pressing F5 or the little hammer icon at the top right here, and I'll make sure that my rectangle select is selected. I then hit hold control, or you can zoom in with over here, and I will zoom in and I'll find the topmost part, what's not the frame but the canvas, and I will left click and I'll hold control to zoom out, and then if you drag your mouse to the edges you can move around the canvas, all still holding the left click. Once I zoom down, I will then position my cursor to the bottom of the canvas and control and zoom in just to make sure that I've actually got it all. I like to zoom out so I can see the whole thing. Now that's selected, I've let go of control and the area of what I want is now selected, and I just simply click delete on my keyboard. This checkered means that this item is basically now got no texture. However, instead of doing that for each of the texture swatches, what I will do is I'll click the magic wand tool here located in my toolbar, and I'll click the center of that, and I'll click Control C or edit, copy. I'll flick over to my second swatch, I will click edit, paste, or Control V, and that should sync up with my texture and clear the old canvas in its place. Again, on the third swatch, I go to paste, and again it clears the canvas. Going back to my first one, I always like to go over to my layers tab. Again, you can either click it by clicking F7 and it pops up. It might be located somewhere different on your screen, but I will make sure that I add new layer. I then drag my background above layer 2 and then click on layer 2. I then want to locate my textures folder, and I want to grab my reference for canvas that I want. So in my terms I've called it 19, and I will go into paint and I shall open that file. So as you can see, my reference file is a lot larger than this box here. So what I tend to do is, we've already copied that, and if you click File New, it should give you a new width dimension of 378. It remembers what you've copied before, the canvas size of before. So when you create a new image, if you opened it and paste it again, it's the same size as the gap as the old canvas that we removed. So now I know that it's 378 is my size, is the size of my canvas. I need to resize this image to 378. I can do so by either clicking Ctrl R to bring up a resize window, or I can go to Image and Resize, not Canvas Size, Resize, so Ctrl R. Within here, on the width, I will copy just that top line because it will automatically do the height to 378, and then I click OK. So now you can see it's a lot smaller. I then either Control A or rectangle select and just select everything by left clicking and dragging, Control C and copying that. I then go to my first image file that I've created, and I can see that I've already clicked on layer 2 because this is the bottom layer, then this is on top, and it goes in order. and I just paste in. Now you can see that I've got my frame and my canvas all split up, but I can now move this around and it's exactly in line with the gap I printed out. And all I have to do is just using the arrow keys, moving it up and down if it's not the same height, which my reference photo isn't, just to position it where I would like it. And I think about there would be perfect. I then click Control A to select everything again, and I Control C or edit copy, and I flick over to my second texture. But like before, what I do now is I add new layer, I drag the background up, I click on layer 2 to make sure that that layer is enabled, and I Control V or I edit paste. So then now the canvas is in the exact same position as my first frame. And again, I'll do the exact same thing for the third texture, fourth texture, fifth texture, however many frames you have. So create new layer, drag the background up, click on layer 2, and then edit, paste or Control V. So now I'm assuming you followed that step. What we want to do now is we want to click on the background layer, and then the fourth button in, it says merge layer down. We want to click that and click Control S. This new screen comes up, save configuration. All you need to do is just hit OK. Move over to your second texture and hit background, merge layer down, Control S or you can click File, Save, and again, same screen pops up, click OK, and for your first one, background, merge layer down, File S or File Save or Control S and hit OK. You do the same processes for any canvases that you would like. For instance, I've got my texture 35 here. I will open it up in Paint, Control R to resize and resize it to 378. And I will Control A, Control C to copy. Now, for a secondary texture, after saving, I will Control Z and split the layer up again. Then on layer 2, I will paste my second canvas that I would like. And again, we would position however you want. Control A, copy, and on the second texture, you undo, layer 2, and paste. And again, undo, Control Z or edit, undo, and Control V to paste. But this time, when we merge down and when we save, we want to go to File, Save As, or Control Shift and S. So this is my third texture, so I'm naming this 3A, because we don't want to overwrite our first one. Again, Shift, Control and S, and this is going to be 2A. And then finally, background, merge down, Shift, Control and S, and 1A. And OK and save. So now in theory, we can close down this. It's going to ask if we want to save our changes of our canvas size. I never like to save it because I like to have my images quite big and I don't want to scale them down. So I don't save. I then bring up Sims 4 Studio again, and then I go to swatch number 1. I go past texture, export, and click this import button. Not these two up here, but this one here. And it should automatically bring up this file. If not, go into your textures folder that you have, similar to I do. And then you click on 1 and open. And then both of these two images in the preview and the flat image here would appear automatically. I then go to number 2, and the same thing, I click the import button and I click 2. And again, it pops up. And then 3, I click import, and then number 3. Now, if I have changed the main colours of it, I will go over to my tags section up here, and I can see here the colours. So if there's a prominent colour, if you've got a purple canvas, you can tick purple. And then when you search by colour in game, it will show us that. but I like to just keep the frame colours. So we've got dark brown, which I agree. We've got yellow, which also I agree. And we got dark brown, kind of, yeah. It's the closest one it's going to be. Flicking back to texture, I click on number 1, and then at the top here, top right, there is add swatch. Then the 4th texture would appear, but it has the exact same swatch and characteristics as what we had before. I then make sure that I'm on 4, and I click import, then I import 1A. And now that's done my second image. Because I like to have all my colours with the same frames all next to each other, just with the different canvases inside, I will left click on number 4 and drag it between 1 and 2. So now my 1 and 2 are the same frame but different canvas. The same process goes to with number 3. I click on number 3, I click add swatch, I import my second gold frame, the one with the second canvas on it, and then I go back into 3 and 4. And then finally, number 5, I click add swatch, I click import, and I do number 3. Now what I do is I just confirm that it matches up with how I want it. I want this palace to be first, and I want the bridge to be second. And you can do that, you can have as many swatches as you deem fit. Now, if you did want to change the actual swatch here, so at the moment they're separated in 3 different sections by these 3 different colours, you can actually X out of these and it'll be just a solid colour, which is what I normally do with my swatches. Unless of course it's like a multi-tone mesh, and then I'll pick the most prominent colours from that mesh. So we're just going to go along and we're going to delete those. Part of my OCD as well is that these colours don't exactly correlate with the wood frame. So to change that, what we can do is we can right click on this section here and a little eyedropper tool comes up. And I will come over and I will choose the frame colour. And again, you do that with every single one. Again, this is just a little bit of advanced swatch management if you wish. This is not necessary, but as I say, if you would like to do it the same, then I might as well show you. Now that there are other things you can include, so like bed swatches. If you want to include like a little part of a pattern, you can create a little texture there and import it. But what I'll do is, if that's requested, I'll do like another little video on that, and the same for a catalogue thumbnail. I won't get into that today. The catalogue thumbnail does automatically generate when you boot in game. But yeah, so you've got all your textures, you've got all your swatches, and you've got all your tags set correctly. What do you do now? Well, you're done. You basically click save at the bottom here, and your package has been saved. And you can close out of Sims 4 Studio. Now if we go back to our Sims 4 mods folder, in our new project folder, we've got our package file and we've got a textures folder. What I normally do is, once I know that my object's done and I'm texturing it, everything like that, I don't want all my build files, as I call them, in my documents, my Sims 4 documents. So what I do is I just simply drag the textures onto a backup hard drive or a USB stick. So I've always got a copy, because I like to make sure that keep a hold of them, make sure I've got backups, and then double check that all my textures are in there, which they are, and then I'm good to delete that folder from my mods and my new project. Once that's done, you can move this tapestry. This is what you will upload to the gallery to show people if they want to download your Recolour or anything like that. That's the file that you share around. I do recommend that you do boot up the game before you upload, if you are planning to upload, and to double check that the swatches all match up and everything's in line. How I test mine is I just go into a build mode in any empty lot. Just saves me from having to bulldoze it. Building a wall. Now, this is just a personal thing that I do, is I always like to give myself like a little green screen. And then you want to locate 2 objects, by function, I always keep show all on, and what I do is I filter items content by custom content. Oh, here's my items from today's video. But then what I do is I drag all these out, but I'm making sure that I'm clicking on here and clicking this swatch in this down here, and then placing them out, because then that way the thumbnails will generate in game and to the package file. So now you can see that they're all in line, the swatches all work, which is what we could ask for. Everything should match up. We haven't played around with the bump files or the spec maps, which is a whole nother ball game, because it's the exact same model and the exact same mesh, which is good. All we've changed is basically the frame inside. But yes, remember, whatever you did name it does appear, and whatever environmental scores or whatever you have on the base object will be cloned. And there we go. That is how you recolor any items within the game. Just going to briefly, in Simsmas Studio, if you click Create a Sim Standalone and click the cast button, you'll see that every item within the game is there with every swatch. If you notice that some objects have the same object but different colours, holding shift and clicking on any one of the items, it will select all of the relevant swatches as like a little tip for you. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you learned something. If you did build something and you use this tutorial to teach you, I'd love to see it. So please DM me on Instagram, Twitter, tag me and stuff. I really want to see it. Have fun simming, and if you really want to, you could use this new trick that you've learned and tip and tool that you're learning, and you can make someone a really nice Simless present for them. Give them a little Christmas present within the Sims game. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow where I've got some more objects for you. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.